Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our show, Barely a Year. I am your host, Ryan Mealy. Later on in the show, we will be having an exclusive interview with one of our own math teachers here at High Tech, Mr. Rockow. Now, before we get started with the interview, we have some news about the World Cup. The defending champion, which was Spain, has been eliminated by Chile yesterday. The final score was 2-0. A lot of people were hoping that Spain would win against Chile, but they were shocked that Chile was able to defeat them. Now, we do have some highlights here for you. Okay. So right now you guys are seeing the highlights. This is in the 19 minute where my mistake, Chile has scored their first goal. It, I would have to say there was just bad defense by Spain, but Chile did play really good in this game. Now, Mr. Rocca, I'm not sure if you're into the World Cup or not, but what did you think of this game?
What do I think of the World Cup?
Yeah.
I've watched a bunch of games. I'm a real hockey fan, so compared to hockey, it's slow. 6 shots on goal, 3 shots on goal, as opposed to 50 and 30. And I know, Ryan, you and I have had our conversations about hockey, so it's just, I don't know who's good. I don't know the teams. I don't know the players, but I'm still watching it because it's all single elimination coming up. So.
All right, thank you for that. Now here we have in the 53rd minute, where Spain had an amazing chance to get a 1-0 lead, but they failed to do so with an amazing bicycle kick. And he just missed the net. He had a wide open net, but he just missed it wide. Very poor shot by Spain. Now, I thought this was going to be a closer game, but as you saw, they missed a wide open net, Spain, in the 53rd minute. So that led to the elimination. Alright, now it's time to get started with our interview with our own teacher, Mr. Rockow. Thanks for coming to the show.
You're very welcome.
So, what type of math do you teach? What levels of math?
What math do I teach?
Yeah, what levels?
I've got an algebra class, an algebra 2 class, a geometry class. Pretty much algebra and geometry this particular year.
Okay, sounds good. How long have you been teaching here?
Probably roughly around 20 years.
20 years? So, you first started teaching here in what year?
I think in 1995.
And what car did you own at that time?
What's that?
What car did you own at that time?
What car did I own in 1995? I had a Chevy Astro. It was a van, 1988 Chevy Astro.
Chevy. Seems like a very nice car to have, especially back then.
Well, it was a minivan. Minivans were sort of cool. They used to have giant vans, and then they shrunk them down and started calling them minivans, and it still looked like an old-fashioned type van, but it was small enough that you could park in a tight New York City parking spot.
Okay, sounds good. So what made you come to teach here at High Tech?
I was hired to do an alternative education program by the town of North Bergen, and so they actually hired me, and that program got taken over by the county, and when it did get taken over by the county, Mr. Gargiulo offered us jobs, all the teachers, and I actually wanted to be have a full-time job. Originally the program was actually an after-school program, but he made it into a full-time program, and I actually taught students from who were a couple of years behind for the first couple hours, and then I used to teach night school, which was adults returning for their high school diploma, which was sort of interesting.
That does sound very interesting. It's Amazing that you have been working here for 20 years. Well, about 20 years.
And I only look like 30 years old. That's amazing.
So, if you weren't a teacher, would you want another job? And if so, what would that job be?
Well, would you want another job because you did? Would you want to work? I've worked at a lot of different other jobs. Before being a teacher, I worked in construction. I used to do demolition. I used to run office buildings. I ended up started as a mechanic, and then I ended up as a building manager, managing 500,000 square feet downtown Manhattan. I oversaw the construction of a building, so I did a lot of different things, and then just I hit a certain age where I said I really wanted to be a teacher and quit my job and went back to school and got a teaching degree. So I became a teacher after doing a lot of different things.
Very interesting. That would definitely not be the path I choose. No offense. But I would probably choose to leave school and never come back.
Well, most people leave school and don't want to come back, and then you'd be surprised how many people go back to school as they get older. So it took me 19 years to graduate college. So I just worked in between. I was making more money than I needed at the time. So
gotta make the money somehow. So, what is your favorite memory here in high tech?
In high tech?
Yeah.
I think you probably ask most teachers, and they tend to remember that first year of teaching. I mean, I try and have a good time. So every year, I do have students and that I remember either because they were just fun or they really changed. And but I think I remember I had a class when I first started that was an Algebra 2 class. That was sophomores, and they were just very special. They were fun, but they really worked hard. So we could get off the subject, talk, and then get back to work right away. And that's the best thing. Sometimes your brain needs a break when you're learning stuff because it's not easy to learn. You actually are working, but so we could talk about something for a minute or two, and then get right back on, back to work. So they were just a good group.
That kind of sounds like our math class that we have now.
I don't like your math class at all. No, actually, you guys are very similar. Probably, as a tribute to your class, each teacher has to be observed, and I remember specifically asking the principal. I said, "Come observe this class because these guys really are, performing very well." And I just, I enjoyed, teaching your class. It is a good mix of kids. Everybody likes each other, and we can have a good time yet get focused again.
Now, I remember that day that you told us to try to be on our best behavior, try to act normal so you don't get fired.
Yes, I said, I would get fired. Yeah. No, but the principal even enjoyed watching it. He was some of the stuff that you guys were doing is a skill that it was really like estimating and using your head and not trusting a calculator. I try to avoid people trusting calculators, and you guys were really right on it. Just tell me if an answer is reasonable, because you don't want to make a fool of yourself later on saying that this can't be. Yes.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because you have to teach yourself how to do the subject without having any assistance.
Right, and often an entrance exam into a college may not provide you with a calculator. You will be able to use one for an SAT, but a lot of the colleges say, we don't give calculators. We want to see if you can do it.
So, did you ever have a worst memory here? Like any wacky stuff that went on during your teaching career?
The fact that I'm really, I'd have to think hard about a worst memory here. That's good, I mean, since they got a better chef now, so so the food is better.
This is a
it's probably got to do with one of those evil breakfasts or something. It's probably the worst memory. But for the most part, this school is a good school. You can tell when people walk in this school about the atmosphere in this building, where It's nice, not stressful, and people tend to get along. People are very accepting of things.
Yes, because if you see in my old school, back in Secaucus, everyone would just split up into their own little groups. Like, you would have the athletes all talking to each other, and then you would have the nerds in the other corner studying for something.
We don't have athletes. That's
That's
why there is no athlete group. We just have all nerds, I guess.
Yeah, but then you would also see like the musical theater students singing some random song and jumping up and down for no reason. But nobody would talk to each other. They would just stay in their own little groups. But here you have everybody talking to each other. Nobody, well, not really that I have seen. Nobody really hates each other here.
Yeah.
So, what do you like to do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies?
What are my hobbies? I like music. I like going to concerts, live music especially. I actually went to see Ringo Starr. Do you know who Ringo Starr is?
I want to say yes, but...
You want to say yes?
no.
I don't know. It's a real honest answer, yeah. Ringo Starr was a Beatle. He was a drummer for the Beatles. Ringo.
Oh.
That Ringo.
Okay.
He's still alive. He's still out there dancing and rocking. He played... I saw him last night in New York City, and he was wonderful.
Oh, last night you went.
Last night, yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Where in New York?
At the Beacon Theater. It's like on Broadway and 75th Street. It's a wonderful old theater. And probably my favorite venue to see a show.
It does sound interesting to go see a show there. Now, I do know that you are a big Devils fan, correct?
New Jersey Devils, yes.
You have seen some of their games, right?
Some of their games? Yes, I've seen a lot of Devils games, yes.
In person, though.
In person.
If you could say, which one was your favorite?
Which one? Well, obviously, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals when they beat Anaheim, which was in New Jersey, and I remember the atmosphere was very tense, and people were worried because it's a Game 7, but
I can.
but
relate.
I think what. I kept saying to people, I said, look, if you asked me at the beginning of the season if I could have Game 7 at home to win the Stanley Cup, I would say yes in a second. So there's nothing to be, you could be eliminated, but it was just it was a good game, and so that was pretty exciting. And then obviously the Devils knocking out the Rangers a couple of years ago. I happened to be at that one. I think I showed you videotape from that.
Over and
So
over
sad.
and over.
With Henrique scoring an overtime goal. But you guys made it back to the Stanley Cup Finals this year, too.
And then got eliminated.
So it's the first time in your lifetime you've made it to the finals,
First
right?
time in my lifetime,
So
yeah.
you're telling me the Rangers have not won a cup in your lifetime?
Nope.
And what year were you born?
1998.
98. So the Devils have only won 2 in your lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, people call Henrik Lundqvist, who is the Rangers goalie, the king. But as a lot of Devils fans say, or Islander fans, or even Pittsburgh fans, he's called the king, but he doesn't have any cups yet.
No, the Islanders can't really brag because they're 1983 now, so that's getting to be a while. That's 30 years now. So the Islanders have to still keep quiet. So I jumped ship. I started off as a Ranger fan growing up, and then they traded my 2 favorite players for someone I really didn't like at the time, Phil Esposito. It would be the equivalent, like there was these 2 guys, Brad Park and Jean Rattel were Rangers, and it would be like if the Yankees traded Derek Jeter for Roger Clemens when he was on Boston. That's how bad it was because we hated Esposito came from Boston, so I ended up starting to root for the Islanders before they got good, and I got to go to a lot of those games and see the Islanders win some cups. They won 4 in a row, and and then I moved out to Jersey, and in 1994, the year the Rangers won, I hooked my wife on hockey. I said, "Come on, you have to go see playoff hockey. It's nothing like it." And there were tickets available because the Devils don't sell out, and you just go buy tickets, which surprised me, coming from either the Islanders when they were in the playoffs. It was a tough ticket, and so I started, becoming a Devil fan, and that was the year like Brodeur came up. So it's been a nice run. It's a nice 20-year run of Martin Brodeur.
I believe that his retirement has not been officially announced yet, correct?
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. I thought a good fit for him would be the Islanders. I don't know what sort of role he wants to play. He's obviously still in great shape because he played well last year, and I think he's still going to be a good goalie somewhere. So, could he get a job where he's half a season goalie? That's why I thought with Nabokov playing for the Islanders, that might have been a good fit. This way he wouldn't have to move or anything like that.
True. Or he can become a backup goalie.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he wants to be a backup goalie. He'd have to. I think he would have to get promised something. I mean, every time he wins a game, he sets a record for the most winning goalie. Every time he gets a shutout, so I don't think he wants to limit the amount of games he plays. I don't think he wants to go through the rigor of the training just to play a few games.
Now, I do understand that you like to play golf, right?
Yes, I love to play golf, yeah.
Now, to me, the sport itself, this is only my opinion, but I don't find it very interesting just because it's really slow moving.
Slow. I mean, I think if you don't play it, it's probably hard to watch. If you do play it, then you realize how hard it is.
I know it can be hard to get the shots and make sure that you get the balls in the hole, but the thing is, it's so.
Well, first of all, it's very satisfying as far as hitting the ball. Let's say, so we're just hitting a golf ball. When you hit a golf ball, it goes so much further than something like a baseball. For instance, I could hit a golf ball over the scoreboard in Yankee Stadium, no problem, from home plate, easily, like nothing.
That's gonna be a tough shot.
Like way over the scoreboard, out into the parking lot. So there's some satisfaction in hitting for distance, and then there's also, you have to tone that down and also have to be very precise. So it's really a game where it's very hard to let your adrenaline out. For instance, like basketball, other sports, hockey, you just go hit somebody if you want to hit somebody, and if you're excited. Golf, there's nothing to hit. The more angry you get, the harder you try, the worse you will play golf. Like, really, you have to stay in control. So when I grow up someday, I'll actually be a really good golfer when I get in control.
Well, I've seen many videos online where the golfers get mad and they take either the golf ball or the putter that they use and just break it. Or when they use the golf ball, just throw it into the river that they have.
I've seen that before, yeah. Yeah. I'm past that stage. Everybody goes through that stage. It might recur temporarily on a certain day where you just bang a club. I saw a pro in a tournament hit a bad drive, and then he slammed his club down, and he actually broke the top of it. And in golf, the rules say you can't replace. You can only replace a club if you break it in the normal course of play. Like if I swing a club and hit a tree and I break it, I can actually replace that club if I happen to have another club there, because you're limited to how many clubs you can carry. You can only carry 14. But if you do it in anger, you can't. So it was his driver, and it was on the last hole, so it was very interesting.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for our show today. Thank you, Mr. Rocco, for coming on our show.
Great, Ryan. Thank you. And by the way, you got like a 74 on your final exam. No, I haven't graded them yet.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised since you're the math teacher and you got what, a 72 when you took it?
72. I think I got like 72 on it. Yeah.
So I did better than you. All right, thank you for tuning in into our show today, Barely a Year. I'm your host, Ryan Mealy. Tune in next time. Goodbye.